Welcome to the third episode of Sekuralaw Experience. I'm Luis Elizalde, founder of Sekuralaw, and I'm with
Stephanie de la Millar, partner.
And Eduardo Borgar, also partner.
Awesome. So, okay, in this third episode, we are gonna speak a little bit about the closing process. Of course, we already spoke about that, but now in specific, it's gonna be when you feel this closing is gonna be smooth or it's gonna be the worst closing that you may have. Let me know your thoughts about that. When do you think it's gonna be a really good closing, a really smooth, or it's gonna be like a nightmare? When that little red flag, so that little detail that you feel that in this moment, oh my God, it's gonna be a nightmare. Oh, really easy, piece of cake.
Well, to start on that idea, it basically depends on the feelings that you get from the clients. Okay. As you work in this industry, you start developing that sixth sense in which from the feel that you get from the first meeting into the emails that you have, or even phone calls or video calls, you start grasping the personality of each client, and you start feeling when it's going to be a problem, because most of the people come with a closed idea, and they don't open up to the possibilities of this new legal system for them. So they come with a very specific idea of how things are going down. So from that moment, you start feeling that it's going to be a little bit of a problem, because you're going to have to explain to them the same thing over and over, and they don't quite get it. So from that moment, I think it's for me, usually is when we start drafting the promissory contract. That's when I see when it's going to be an issue or not.
Okay.
Sometimes even in the introduction with the clients, I will say a magic sentence that you see that, okay, you have to breathe really deep. I'm an attorney. So, when your client says, oh, you know what? I'm also an attorney here in whatever the country that he's coming or she's coming from. Yeah. That is a really big red flag when they say, oh, you know what? I'm also an attorney. I'm eager to work with you. Yeah. And explain all my knowledge, and also you can feed me with your experience, and I think I will be very helpful providing my knowledge. That it's
it's not bad, but also not really good, because they feel that they can do anything that, or the same thing that they can do in their country. So no, that's crazy.
Yes. I have a foreign attorney also providing guidance.
Yeah,
that will be another one.
Yeah, it's not the best.
At the end, you have a closing that it was with an attorney, exactly, and it's a really high-end property. I think above $1 million. Mm-hmm. What happened at the end?
No, actually, that the thing that was a mind changing for him, obviously, is that he knew that it was not on his scope of experience, because he is an injury attorney in the U.S.
Okay.
So he knew that all of this area of the law, it's not part of his knowledge, and also that he was in a foreign country. I mean, he obviously told me, okay, you know what? I know how the attorneys behave. I know what I should expect about service, and I think we nailed it. I mean, he was hesitating, of course, that like every investor that we have, he had many questions, but at the end, I think he had a very good experience, despite that obviously he was with this lie of saying, you know, I'm an attorney and I know exactly what we need to do as the customer service, or how, or the timelines that I should expect regarding your response and regarding your assistance as attorney. But he never wanted to jump in the process of the closing itself. No, he was very respectful, and I think that was the key that made the difference between a nightmare closing. Of course, that it was hard because we were in the middle of the pandemic, so it was hard.
But
Not because of him.
so that's like a different, like the attorney that say, "Hey, I'm an attorney." That was like an exemption.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's good.
And
That's good to know.
Open-minded attorney.
That's good. That's good, and that's good to know because it's not like a general idea that all the attorneys are like that, but there was an exception. A property really high end, more than $1 million, and it was a smooth closing. I think at the end it was like 3 months, 4 months.
About 3 months.
Perfect.
Yes. A brand new trust that it was a challenge because of the COVID.
Exactly.
Yes.
Awesome.
Now I'll tell you the other part. When they are very noisy, this client had a expertise in law in his country, but he also knew as a lawyer you need space to work. So I think that was a good part of it. But on the other hand, we have clients that are very noisy.
What do you mean noisy?
Noisy. They like try to be there. They are always sending you emails. They want them to copy you in the emails with the bank, with the brokers, with the escrow, with everyone. They want to be like super in the loop, right?
But they are worried, or they are like they only need to know, or they only need to be on the scoop of everything, or what is the idea, or what you're feeling when they are doing that?
No, they usually do that because they want to move things faster. So in their mind, if they are in the loop, they can push it.
So if they are pushing, of course, everything is going to be faster.
Exactly.
Nah, not
And
like
sometimes,
that.
yeah. I mean, there are certain things that are out of their hands.
Yeah.
And you need to explain to them. And there's sometimes people that they just don't listen. And through the whole process, it's a nightmare because you have them on your back.
Yeah.
And you're also dealing with the actual process, dealing with the bank, dealing with the notary, with the brokers, dealing with the escrow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like kind of juggling everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And you CC them in every email, and they reply back in every email saying, "I don't know what is going on. Can you please explain? Because everything looks very twisted and everything is a mess." And they haven't,
It is in
it
Spanish.
is the truth. It is in Spanish. And sometimes they haven't even read the email.
Yeah.
And sometimes they only respond to you. That's the most frustrating part because they take out everyone out of the thread, and now you have to put them back in to answer them. So it's a little waste of time. And as I said, I feel it like you're in the fair juggling things, and at some point you're gonna drop something.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we aim for, but the more items that you put into the juggling, it's gonna be a chance that you're gonna drop
It's
something.
going to be harder,
Exactly.
of course.
It's gonna be harder.
But for example, if we CC in all the emails to these clients and they never say nothing, and I don't know, you work in in the closing process, you feel like it's a smooth closing, or because that idea to know exactly what is the little details to make a smooth and hard closing.
Mm-hmm.
For me,
It's for both.
yeah. For me, the difference is once you set a plan, and for some reason you have to make a little adjustments, that's when panic starts arising.
Right.
For example, we have everything planned to sign middle of this month, April.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the permanent Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the purchasing party is not yet done. And let's say that the seller has an already existing trust with another bank, and that process is also being worked on without being finished yet, and we're approaching that deadline.
Okay.
So of course, we as professionals, we have to establish a way or a plan B, which I don't like that word, to solve it, because at the end of the day, we are problem solvers.
Exactly.
And we have to deliver, right? And deliver, it doesn't mean that by the book. We can also take shortcuts or do stuff to make it happen.
It's not like shortcuts, is things or the solution that we can provide to the clients, I think. Exactly, the tools that we have, because we have knowledge in real estate law in Mexico and more specific in Quintana Roo. So, for example, what could be a shortcut, a tool, a solution? But what do you think? What is it?
Right away, the most common is the POA.
Okay.
It's a power of attorney. It's always useful.
Okay, so one tool to get solutions for a closing after we find a little problem. It could be with a POA, power of attorney. Perfect. Which do you have any other tool? Any other idea?
But the all reliable, the soft closing, that comes hand in hand with the POA sometimes.
Yeah, let's talk about a little more about the soft closing, because with the soft closing with the power of attorney, because if we go soft closing, it's gonna be crazy and it's gonna take like 7 hours. So yeah, so let's talk about a little bit about the power of attorney. Steph, you can give an example about your experience with power of attorney, because sometimes they feel like the power of attorney, they're not going to have control, or we are signing and we're going to sign the title because our names are on the title. So the client are like, oh my God, no, I don't want to give a power of attorney or grant a power of attorney. I think could be a really good idea, or it's a really good tool to use. So
Definitely. And I mean, gives to the client the peace of mind that we are on charge, and we will deliver in the way that it has to be accordingly to what we have planned in the due diligence. Is just a slightly change about they are not gonna sign the deed themselves. We will sign it on their behalf. They are not granting us any other faculties than signing the title on their behalf, and the documents related to, which are the documents related to the closing, know your customer forms for the trustee bank, and know your customer forms for the escrow account and for the notary. That it's basic administrative paperwork that at the end it's not even part of the title. The power of attorney actually provides more certainty that the title will be signed, and they don't have to be worried or overwhelmed about when that they will be able to come again, how many days, if the seller will be available at that time. Many factors that are not in their control, and it will be easier to handle from us. So it depends, obviously, and actually sometimes it's easier when they are abroad and they grant the power of attorney in countries that are attached to the Hague Convention, to sign a power of attorney that could be valid in Mexico through the apostille seal. It's actually very easy. It's a low-cost solution, and gives them certainty that we will sign despite they are able to come or not.
That's good. That's great. Yeah. Awesome. Ed, and you said a little bit about the permit of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Why? Why exactly? I don't think the government can have mistakes. So what are you talking about? That doesn't happen. Yeah.
In a really messed up dystopia, that could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but to be honest, we've made long strides towards automizing everything. Even the government, they now use a system called CPAC to work all these permits and make it faster and without any human intervention that could make errors. But it still happens, right?
Assistant need to be filled.
Yes.
So-
Yes. For example, we just had one recently that even though we had several filters in between us, the banks, and the ministry, actually the ministry issued a wrong permit without. They skipped the process in which they review stuff, and if something is wrong, they issue a letter and they give you a certain amount of time to fix it.
Yeah, like the normal process.
Exactly, to avoid them issuing something that is wrong that we then need to modify.
Okay.
Right? In the
But
very
so-
extreme exceptions, that
Sorry,
happens.
but it's possible that they did that just to charge a little more? Because a letter, if they send you just a notice that you have to change it, there is no cost.
Yeah.
But if they sue it, they issue it, of course, if you want to make the amendment, it has a cost, right?
Yeah, I mean, that is
So you think it could
hurting
be...
the pocket of the client at
Yeah,
the end
of course.
of the day. That is what we try to avoid, obviously. But yeah, I think, I don't want to say they do it on purpose, but I think they need funds for the Maya train. I guess.
Whoa!
Someone has to pay them.
Yeah.
Whoa! It was enough.
You didn't hear it from here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think,
Deleting the postcard? No.
I don't think they have any animosity towards doing their
No,
job
of course.
bad, right?
No, because they are overworked already.
Obviously.
So I don't
They
think
work
that.
so hard.
No.
No.
For real. For real. They
Yes.
are overworked.
Yes.
They have a lot of. Stop
No.
it. I believe in our government. And
Our
I know
bureaucrats.
that come on, they are lazy. They don't want to work. So they have enough work and they get paid for many other brand new trusts that actually are the double that the cost of the
Of course.
correction. No?
So maybe that's we got the bad luck, right? Because it happened 1 in a million possibilities, and we got it.
Yeah.
That's the thing, but that's something that slows the closing process and
Can get a nightmare.
exactly and make us try creative ways
Yeah.
to solve things. Which is a POA, because that is used when sometimes the buyers or sellers need to go out of the country. They settle on a closing date and they had everything ready. They purchased their flights and now they have to leave. And since that is not going to happen, then that's what we step in and we suggest, let us do that for you. If you don't know, by law, if you grant a power of attorney to somebody, that person has to give you or tell you what he's going to do or what he does with it. So you're always in the loop. It's not like you're blankly giving somebody part of attorney. And also you can make it special for an exact property, for an exact amount of time, right? So there's several ways that you can be protected.
Awesome. So, but at the end, that's a detail to make a nightmare of the permit in a closing process. But and also another that you said, it was the time frame that we have sometimes with the client, because they have to come back to their country, or they say, hey, I'm gonna be here only 2 weeks, and to get the trust or a new permit, could be 3 weeks, and they saying that it's gonna be only 2 weeks. So the time frame with the client could be another nightmare for us. Sometimes the seller, sometimes the buyer, sometimes both. So, of course, we already spoke about the power attorney, but what else we can do with that client so they can feel comfortable? Not only the power attorney. How do you work with them?
Regarding maybe suggesting some sort of soft closing or...
No, but I'm talking more like that they feel comfortable. Maybe they're going to say, hey, I'm going to be here only 2 weeks and I come back in 1 month. And that's the buyer. And the seller say, no, I don't want to close in 1 month and a half. So it has to happen in 3 weeks. If not, I'm not selling. That kind of situations. How do you manage that?
Yes.
That's it.
I think the most important of of the closing is that we care about two things. Well, three. First of all, legally speaking, that the seller signs the title. That is the most important, because at that moment, the ownership of the unit is conveyed to the new owner, to the buyer. Secondly, obviously, comes along with the seller execution to be paid, that the seller can be paid. And third, it will be that when it will happen, the physical delivery of the property. If we solve these three facts, I think even though the buyer cannot come in the precise moment that the seller will sign, we will be fine. As long as everything is paid, we know that the property will be delivered physically, and we know that the seller agrees to do the closing in this way. Basically, I don't think that they will have any issue regarding it, because they will get paid. And as a seller, I mean, we also represent sellers, and we know that our pick here and the main task that we have with a seller is that they get paid. If we have that solved, I think we will be able to deliver the closing on the dates that were planned, and with everyone happy.
Can you repeat the three things? Because from my point of view, that's perfect. That's really good things. Or the three most important things in a closing.
Yes.
Can you repeat that one?
Yes, the three more important things for closing is seller title execution, seller get paid, and physical delivery of the property. That will be, perfect, I think.
Perfect. Sounds really good.
If we have all these three really good planned, I don't see why we cannot deliver on the timelines that were expected to be.
Yeah. So, and in that little thing, so that three things, that we can use the soft closing. Because if we use the soft closing, we are gonna fulfill all that three things. The title, of course not, because it's soft closing, but it's gonna happen. The price, the purchase price, and the delivery, the physical possession of the property. So that's good. That's good. I think we have a really good thing today. Three facts that we need for the closing. Okay, that's perfect.
For seller, it is very important, and for the buyer as well.
Awesome. Okay. What about vibes? It's something that Eduardo and I think Steph said at the beginning, that you can feel your client when the client is too noisy, or when the client is like, hey, I don't care, I just want to buy a property in the paradise. So do you think that changed a little? Or doesn't matter, because there is like the trust, like other thing that is gonna make a nightmare, or if the buyer is or the seller, both of them are really smooth. I don't mean they don't care, but they leave us everything to us. You know, do you think it's a huge difference, or it's not? Really?
Definitely is a fact. I
Okay.
mean, the least amount of stress and worry that you pour into the closing, the better it will go. So some people are very relaxed.
Again, that phrase sounds. I love it. I feel it. You know.
It is. The less stress that you pour into the closing, the better it will go.
Awesome.
Because we're humans and we're working, and if we get stressed out, obviously our work is going to be impacted in not a very good way.
Good.
Right.
Good. Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is a very good, important point. We are human. So what happens, for example, when our client is going through a really hard process, like for example, getting divorced. In the middle of the closing, they started happily married, and suddenly in the middle of the process, like everyone else,
The personal situation, familiar situation. Yeah, you're right.
yes, that will be also, I mean, obviously that we have to put the client always first, and we know that they are the ones that are getting through this hard situation, not us. But for sure it makes really hard the closing for them. For us, the communication could be a little bit broken because of that situation. When someone of that it's part of the closing dies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is a lot. Yeah, there is a lot of circumstances that we cannot handle also, and that change a lot the closing process. That's the human factor, that sometimes, like at the beginning, I don't remember, you said that all the time we are trying to get a system for everything, but the human factor, we are not systems, we are not a big computer or something, we are humans. So that's nice. That's also a big change in a closing process. They could be the best client, a really nice vibe, everybody looks good, but a situation that can change that is a family situation. Wow. Yeah, good one.
Yeah, we had clients that went through divorce in the middle of it, like some partner died.
Names.
We can't.
Obviously.
No, I'm
We
kidding.
respect that
kidding.
people. Yeah, but I mean that it's like a curveball.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you need to adjust.
And we don't just adjust, we solve it. We always look to solve this kind of situation with two things: communication with the client and always looking for solutions, different kind of solution. Don't like thinking out of the box is one of them. I think in sekuralaw have the most policy to do that.
Yes.
Not to be that square. So that's good. I think everything is going well, really good today.
Yes.
¿Cuánto tiempo llevamos? Well, I don't know. Do you want to finish with something? Both of you finish. You already said said three things amazing, and you said a really good phrase. But if you want to finish,
I'm
on this,
still thinking in the Tren Maya. Every time that a client jumps in the Tren Maya, will say, "I'm part of this.
Well,
I paid this."
Another thing that I can say is that, of course, we would like things to go the way we want, especially in an investment in which we're pouring resources, time into it to get like a goal, which is a new property in a different country. But sometimes we have to learn to adjust, and it's not the end of the world, because some clients take it like the world's going to end. So no. If
they're
things
gonna lose the money.
Yes, I mean, if things go sideways, there's always a possibility to rectify them and continue, and that is why we are here. sekuralaw, as professionals, and attorneys, we're going to make sure that your investment is well taken care of and that you finally get the goal that you want to, either if you invest in a property or in a company or something that you want to do here. We'll be having your back, basically, and have it covered for you.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes, and I stick to the fact that we are humans and we understand that we are providing a service for humans. So we will be certain that you get the assistance and the sensitive assistance that you need when you need to.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for today. It was
Thank you.
really good.
Yes, I think
Perfect.
so. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.